warm good morning to Dr. Dethe also, sir. It was very nice interacting with you. Very good morning to you, sir. And dear participants, today we are going to discuss about mobile operating system. So I will start with the beginning of the mobile era. Okay. So in fact, in India, we can say that 1990 was the beginning of the mobile area. So previously, we were aware of only you can say major three type of companies in the mobile market. One was Nokia, another was Siemens, and third was indeed Motorola. Okay, so ये जो तीन companies थी, these three companies started working with the mobiles, and they made mobile popular in the market. So previously, the main function of the mobile, which was like you can say size of a brick, so it was mainly to communicate. Okay, so communicate means people were able to talk to each other while on the transit or on while being the mobile. So along with the communication facility, you can say mobiles began to give some another messages services like SMS also. Otherwise, for specifically for SMS, people used to use pager. So along with the pager, this mobile was the thing which occupied the market of pager companies, and it started transmitting the messages, that is short messages services there also. So as you know, that mobile became widely used day by day. So it has to use multiple things. So rather than just having talk, mobile created a threat to lot many consumers, or you can say it created a threat to a lot many another different companies also. तो lot many different companies में आता है, one is the camera company. Like we never thought that mobile, or in fact camera company also didn't thought camera means either it can be called about from Sony या तो फिर from uh, Hitachi and other camera company. They never thought that mobile can be threat to them. But today we are able to see that whenever we want to capture the pictures, we are able to capture it by means of the mobiles. So that means these mobiles are too handy, so that nowadays nobody carries another camera, or explicitly for you can say little bit non-professional pictures. That was one thing. Another thing was audio, because in case of this that mobile stereo audio also, rather than stereo, shake hand with Sony Ericsson. ठीक है, तो Sony Ericsson was the one who was giving the Dolby audio kind of things, and that's why the audio in terms of the mobile, it also became very much popular. That audio quality should be good. And you know this Dolby stereo is mainly used to suppress the noise. It is the noise reducing factor, or you can say noise reducing technique. That why Dolby digital has been played important role in terms of the mobile users. So it also played major important role in selling the, or in marketing the mobile things. Another thing was regarding camera. So camera mein people started using Carl Zeiss. Otherwise, Carl Zeiss was the camera company which used to uh, for capturing the photographs. And for capturing the photographs, this camera company played important role. But the moment Carl Zeiss it shake hand with Nokia and Samsung, तो ultimately Sony Ericsson से भी उन्होंने hands type किए. So it has seen that this mobile was coming to more and more uses as number of uses increases. So lot many people started to listening to the song like iPad. तो pods use करने के बजाय, rather than using the pods, people were much more comfortable while listening to the songs from mobile, because it was giving a better audio quality. So one was camera, another was your stereo systems, and a third thing was regarding storing the data. Because as time increased, as time went by, so lot many people started using the mobile as a touchscreen kind of thing, and the screen size became larger, and because of that, people were able to read the documents also. So that way, storing data, storing photos, all these things came into existence. But previous phones, the proprietary operating system which was working on them, like Symbian, या तो फिर Windows, या तो फिर you can say BlackBerry OS. So these operating systems give some limitation to the user. So that operating systems created some things also which was not complicated, complex, or which was not comfortable for the users. Lot many times user expected and wanted that he should have own freedom to load the application, or mobile application or mobile app, whatever he wanted. Okay, so another thing was that people also started to work smarter, because as you know that previously with our computer system also there was DOS, that was nothing but disk operating system. So disk operating system was single tasking system, because once when you execute a particular task, you submit a particular task to execute, you won't be able to enter another task unless and until the first task gets executed completely. So that was the issue with mobile also. You are able to operate a single task at a particular time. And even if you wanted to add another task, you need to wait unless and until first task becomes executed completely. So now people wanted that they should have the multitasking system. So how to go with multitasking? Naturally, you should able to exploit the processor by providing him multiple tasks at the same time. So how to go ahead with multitasking? That was also challenge, because to satisfy the user, to satisfy the customer, to satisfy the client is the main motto of any of the you can say a device making company. So your mobile operating system should be able to do that. So Samsung Galaxy S5 onwards, rather than S5, I should say Note 2 onwards, they started creating the dual screen kind of thing. That means if you want to able to, if you want willing to execute multiple tasks, so one task will be executed at one window, another task will be executed at another window. Create the high speed gaming softwares also. Means user were morely interested in not only doing the basic tasks, in creating, or in fact in playing the high
Ma'am, I'm having
uh,
disrupted you.
Yes.
you can say processing.
Sir, your voice is intermittently breaking.
Hello,
हॅलो प्रसाद सर
जी madam.
आवाज कटतोय मधामधात.
Okay. Mm, am I audible now, madam, properly?
सर नाउ इट इज फाइन. आप जैसे बोलना चालू करते ना तो थोड़ी देर के बाद ब्रेक होती है आवाज.
Okay, madam.
यू प्लीज
Currently I am
कंटिन्यू.
on the mobile network.
यस यस.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am. Fine. So about multi-threading and exploiting the processor. Now, in the year 2012 onwards, what happened with Intel company, the microprocessor company, the high speed, or in fact, you can say high clock speed kind of microprocessor. So with 386, 486, then Pentium P1, P2, P3, like that. They started making the high speed or high clock speed microcomputers, or you can say microprocessors. So there Intel found because those microprocessors were able to, or they were also used in your laptops also. So they found that the more clock speed, the more processor becomes heated, and the more processor becomes heated, it requires energy for the fan as well as heat sink. So to cool down the processor, they require exhaust fan, and to cool down the processor, they also require larger heat sink. But this heating effect in turn used to drain the battery which was used in laptops. So there they found that the battery of the laptop, once it gets fully charged to the percentage of 100, they found that it used to drain within a span of 45 to 1 hour only. So even if your laptop gets heated up and it stays the charging cycle for just 1 hour, so they need to carry adapter always with them, which also make the laptop as the standalone systems. It also created another problem which Intel engineers were required to work upon. So what they did, they reduced the clock speed, they reduced this frequency, just as Pentium hyper-threading processor was at most up to the speed of 3.6 or 3.8 gigahertz. So they reduce it to 1.6 kind of thing. And the moment they reduced the clock speed to 1.6 gigahertz, and rather than adding a single core processor, they added the dual core processor. Okay. So what happened? In dual core, combiningly they were able to achieve the speed of more than 3 gigahertz, but on individual basis, they found, the Intel engineers found that the battery life, or you can say the charging discharging cycle, becomes fourfolds. That means though that battery which was able to give you power up to 1 hour, it was now able to give you power up to 4 hours. Now it was observed that there were lot many tasks which were not dependent on each other, okay, which were individual. So those tasks were able to designate the processor in a different manner. Okay, so the tasks, or you can say the multitasking things, were able to give it on a different processor, submitted on different processors, so that both the processors were working jointly, and it was observed that it was yielding the same result which your single core processor was able to achieve. Now, in case of the laptop, as I talked about the multi-core architecture, okay. So the same thing went from dual core processors to core to duo. Now there is a mild difference between dual core and core to duo. As in case of the dual core processors, they are attached one after the another, and in core to duo, the single chip was there, and it was having the inbuilt double cores. Then came quad core, and after quad core, hex core, then octa core. Now, same concept. The same concept was also utilized in mobile systems also. Okay. So here, in case of the multi-core processing, you are able to see that the more clock speed, the more is the current consumption. Okay, more power is consumed. So that way, by reducing the clock rate of a processor, single core processor, so lesser current was getting to be consumed. So the same technology came into existence for mobile also. Mobile people also started to think in a multi-core technology. So from Samsung Galaxy S6 onwards, okay, the ARM technology, or you can say ARM processor. You know, ARM is Advanced Risk Machine. Okay, and RISC stands for Reduced Instruction Set Computing. So this kind of technology is being used in mobile. So ARM has created another technology which was said to be big dot little technology. So when we call big dot little technology, so BIG is in small case, while LITTLE is in capital case. So it was the future of the mobile. It was making very high performance available in mobile envelope without sacrificing the energy efficiency. Now it was basically combination of Cortex. Cortex, you can say, as I'm able to display you, it is a quad core processor within the quad core, there is four different processors: Cortex A7, Cortex A53, Cortex A15, and Cortex A57. So when we talk about the big technology, it was highest performance in mobile power envelope. Okay, but when we talk about little technology, it was most energy efficient applications processor for ARM. So this big dot little technology gave a combination of high power computing as well as basic computing. So basic computing means basic applications. So when we talk about basic application of mobile, so it is like SMS providing, it is like audio calling, or in fact in some other ways it is also video sort of thing. But in case of high performance, whenever we want to shift to gaming architecture, or whenever we want high power, or in fact high performance in mobile computing, so big type of processors are going to be used. So depending on the task, people, or you can, in fact the microprocessor, it was possible to use sometimes big processor or sometimes little processor. So that way, we are able to see that this innovation in ARM technology, by using the big dot little architecture, it created, you can say, best of the output from mobiles. So this is a little history, or you can say a development of mobiles from single core processors to multi-core processors. Now, when we talk about mobiles, so another thing came into picture, that is about the operating system. That is what mobile operating system. So today we are going to discuss a lot about different type of mobile operating system. So first of all, the main overview is about the introduction, that is already over. Another was mobile operating system structures, the platforms, Java ME platform. This Java ME platform is mainly used for different tablets. Different tablets means you can say HCL kind of tablet. Then another OS was Palm OS, Symbian OS, Linux OS, Windows Mobile OS, BlackBerry. This BlackBerry OS, you can say the specialty of BlackBerry phones. The BlackBerry phones were said to be premium phones, and those phones were specially connected to BlackBerry server. Now, the benefit of that BlackBerry server was that whenever you do receive on your BlackBerry kind of things, or in fact, you could have get one more email ID from your BlackBerry server. So whatever mail that were transmitted to you, either on Gmail or some other thing, if it is your phone is connected with BlackBerry, so all the mailbox was shifted to your BlackBerry server. Now, at those times when the bandwidth was low, people, whenever they wanted to access either their Yahoo or Gmail, so they were forced to suffer the problems of bottleneck, problem of, you can say, bandwidth distribution, because whenever a user wanted to log in to Yahoo or Gmail, they were forced to compete with their peers, with different users of the world, to access the Google server or Yahoo Mail server. So this BlackBerry OS, or you can say BlackBerry people, created their own server, and your mailbox was completely copied to the mail server of BlackBerry. And then whenever the BlackBerry user wanted to access the mailbox, so fewer, or you can say less number of users were there with BlackBerry, so the server was very quick responsive, and that's why the mails and other things were handled to you, or whether they were delivered to you in a short span of time. So they were not forced to enter into the era of, you can say, struggling or bottlenecking with the bandwidth. Same concept is nowadays with used with iPhone also. And the last operating system, or the current operating system that everybody likes, is Google Android. Now, the features of OS. In case of mobile, as we talk, I hope that you might be aware with features of, or operating system feature of the desktop operating system, or you can say with the desktop PC. In case of mobile also, we were expecting to have different features. Then multitasking was there, scheduling was is there, different type of memory allocation system, because in case of mobile, depending on the task, depending on the liking of a user, this memory allocation should be done. Then file system interface, it would have keypad interface, it would have different input output related interface, At the same time, your operating system, your mobile operating system should able to provide you protection as well as security, because once you tamper a particular operating system related file of a mobile, then your mobile may get vulnerable, it may get unstable, at the same time it may not function properly. And lastly, the multimedia features. So design and the capabilities of mobile OS is very different than our general purpose OS, which are running on the desktop machines. And another thing is that these mobile devices are having the constraints, or you can say they are having the restrictions on their physical characteristics, such as it will be having the screen size, whatever things or whatever web page you do view, if it is not mobile handy or if it is not compatible with the mobile, then naturally a lot much amount of information will be over and above the size of the screen size. So if it is moving out of your screen, then definitely that information won't be possible for you to read. Okay. Another constraint is about memory. Then your mobile processing power, as it is handy, as it is compact, as it is very, you can say, short in size. So it is also having the limitations on processing power. Then, as you know, that once you charge a mobile, it is expected that while leaving the home, at least it should give you enough battery power so that once you come down at your home, you should be able to recharge. But if it is giving you less than 8 hours of battery power, so at Indian scenario, it is generally not acceptable. So still you are expected to utilize battery power in a sufficient manner so that there shouldn't be scarcity. Then a limited amount of computing and communication capabilities. So for mobiles, they need a different type of operating systems depending on the capabilities that they support. For example, our PDOS is different from the smartphone OS. Okay, the operating system is a piece of software which is responsible for managing the operations control, coordinate the use of different hardwares among the various application programs, and sharing the resources. Because naturally, when we talk about mobile, it is having the uh, limited resources. So sharing of that resources of a device is also to be considered. Now about the structure. Okay, so as with our desktop operating system, it is also having hardware at the bottom. So along with hardware, it will be having the manufactured device drivers, because whatever the hardwares you are utilizing or using, either it may be related with input output processor, or it might be related with microcontroller, it might be related with audio jack, it might be related with camera kind of things, or it might be related with your sound system. So all those kind of device drivers are required to be installed along with the operating system. So device operating system base will be there. Along with the base, it will be having operating system libraries, and over and above the operating system libraries, it will be having different applications. Now, as you know, because lot many people are Android users, Android OS users. So whatever the applications they wanted to install, generally those applications are available on Play Store. Now these applications are either on paid basis or on free of cost basis. If those applications are on free of cost basis, then definitely those applications wanted different kind of permissions. And different kind of permissions means they want access to your camera, they wanted access to your microphone, they wanted access to your contact list, they wanted access to your photographs, they wanted to access to your files. Now what actually these companies who are giving you free of cost softwares, they are going to gain out of that? Naturally, if they want it, or if they have your contact list, then out of those contacts they can contact all the individual persons from your contact list, they can market their product. Okay? And by marketing their products, they can have a different source of contacts or different source of informations. Either it, lot many people are having the habit to store their PAN card, their Aadhaar card onto the camera. And if you're having the Google or you can say Android operating system, which is supported by the Google, or you can say by supported by your Gmail, because whenever you purchase your mobile, so it is expected that you should log in by using your Gmail ID and password. So in that case, things might be available with the Google. Now there are different platforms for mobile operating systems. And the important platforms are Java ME platform, Palm OS, Symbian OS. Symbian, which was from the beginning itself, it was generally coupled with Samsung and Nokia kind of thing. Then Linux OS, Windows Mobile OS, BlackBerry OS, iPhone OS, and Google Android platform. This iPhone OS is also said to be iOS. Generally, nowadays version X is going on. So, Java ME platform is a set of technologies, specification and libraries developed for the small devices like mobile phones, pagers, and personal organizers. So, in case of HCL organizer, or you can say HCL tab, HCL ME tab, generally it used the Java ME platform. This Java ME platform was designed by the Sun Microsystem. It is licensed under the GNU, that is General Public License. These GNU license are under for general public, means you are able to observe the operating system, you are able to download the source code, you are able to modify the code, and at the same time you should able to share that whatever your code is to different persons. Now, these Java ME platforms are composing the following elements. They are having the applications, they are having the profile, they are having the optional packages, they are having the vendor specific classes, which is also said to be OEM classes. They are having configuration, the native operating system, and the device hardware. So, I won't be going into too much detail of Java ME, but the main components are like configuration things, the Java virtual machine, because Java virtual machine is the thing which made Java much more portable and compatible with any kind of hardware or any other different kind of mobile systems. Because once you are having the virtual machine software, this virtual machine takes care of all the execution with respect to Java things. Next is about Palm OS. Palm OS is an embedded operating system. It is designed for ease of use with a touchscreen based graphical interface. So Palm OS was the first one which was into touchscreen kind of things. So whatever the mobiles or the tabs which were touchscreen based, so generally those were associated with Palm OS. So it has been implemented on a wide variety of mobile devices such as smartphones, barcode readers, GPS devices, and this Palm OS also runs on the ARM architecture based processor. And Palm OS is designed as the 32-bit architecture. Now, when we talk about 32-bit architecture or 64-bit architecture, it indicates the processing capability. So, when we talk about higher bit of architecture, so we are basically dealing with higher number of data, higher number of capability of processing. The features of OS 1, 2, and 3 are like they are single tasking OS. So Palm OS Garnet, that is 5.x version, and Cobalt is 6.0 or higher. It uses a kernel developed as Palm, but it doesn't expose tasks or threads to the user applications. That means it is built with a set of threads that cannot be changed at runtime. Okay, and as you know, the Palm OS Garnet was a single tasking OS. Okay, but Palm OS Cobalt, it does support the multiple threads. Okay, but it once again doesn't support creating the additional processes by the user applications. So you can say processing or execution of a particular thing was little fast at OS Cobalt, and this OS is having the preemptive multitasking kernel that provides basic tasks, but it doesn't expose this feature to user applications. So the basic tasks are there which can be used as preemptive kernel. The features of Palm OS are like multi-memory management. So the memory, RAM or ROM, whatever it is, for each Palm resides on a memory module, which is also known as the card. Naturally, previously, whatever memory was there, it was always associated on a card. Even today, we are having the fixed memory, which is available with inbuilt, but at the same time, you are able to add another card. So, in other words, each memory card contains RAM or ROM or both. As Palms, you can say the hardware Palm kind of things, they were having no card. or one card or multiple cards. So extension supporting three system is there, and this capability not only augments the memory and I/O, but also it facilitates the data interchange with other palm devices. Okay. For example, the same kind of facility is given by iOS, or you can say iPhone users also. They are able to transfer the data from your Apple device to Apple device. Means your mobile can be linked well with your MacBook Air, or you can say your MacBook, Apple MacBook. At the same time, whatever data that can be available with MacBook, that can be also synced properly with your iPhone. So Palm OS also uses examples of handwriting recognition input, which is called Graffiti 2. Palm OS provides the security model. Devices can be locked by password, because in case of the Nokia phone or Symbian OS, the locking was not possible. It was not possible for you to lock the password, or you can say lock the device by means of user created password. An X.509 certificate manager is used for Palm OS Cobalt. Then coming to our most popular operating system, which was used in India, it was given by Symbian OS. It is also a big, 32-bit little Indian operating system. It was also running on different flavors of ARM architecture 4. Now, Symbian created the example of creating the multitasking operating system, and it was very minimal depending on the peripherals. As in case of mobile, most of the operating system used to run on the privilege mode for exporting its services to the user applications via the user libraries. Because whenever we are using the mobile operating system, depending on the task, which task is required to give the priority. Suppose you are working on the, or you can say you are playing on some game on your phone, and if a call or SMS arrives, so definitely rather than keeping yourself busy and avoiding those tasks, it's always better that mobile gives you some signal, some message, or you can say some display kind of thing that you have this call arriving. Symbian OS uses the libraries, which includes networking, communication, I/O interfaces, and many other. Now, access to these services and resources is coordinated through a client server framework. Okay? So, it also uses two-tier architecture like client as well as server. So, clients generally use the services API, application program interface, that are exposed by the server to communicate with the server. And the client server communication is generally conducted by the operating system kernel. The Symbian OS structure is like that. It is having the at the top bottom. It is having the hardware. Above that, it is having the Symbian OS base kernel. Then above that, it is servers. Then application engines. Then KVM, and then Symbian OS libraries. Features of the Symbian OS are like that. Real time. It has a real time multi-threaded kernel. So data caging is allows applications to have their own private data partitions. This feature allows for the applications to guarantee a secure data store. Okay, so it can be also used for e-commerce applications, locations aware applications, and etc. So the GPS kind of things are nowadays given by the Symbian OS also. Now, in case of the multimedia, it also supports the audio, video recording, playback and streaming, as well as image conversion. In addition, it supports Symbian OS provides encryption as well as certificate management secure protocol like HTTPS, TLS, and the secure socket layer, as well as WIM framework. Symbian OS provides you fully object-oriented and component-based architecture. It gives you optimized memory management. Then a client server architecture is that is described in the previous slides. It provides simple and higher efficient inter-process communication. This feature also eases the porting of code written from other platforms to the Symbian OS. So hardware abstraction layer, it provides a consistent interface to the hardware, and at the same time it supports device independency. The kernel offers hard real-time guarantees to the kernel and user mode threads. Now, whenever we talk about real-time systems, so all of you might be knowing that there are two type of real-time systems. One is hard real-time, another is soft real-time. Now, hard real-time failure guarantees the catastrophic effects. Okay, it indicates the catastrophic failures. But in case of soft real-time systems, it is expected that somewhat tolerance might be accepted or granted. So generally, whenever we talk about real-time operating system or the embedded operating system, it is expected that your scheduling should be so smart that it should be properly executing both the things. It should be able to achieve hard real-time tasks as well as soft real-time tasks. In case of hard real-time tasks, there are different type of scheduling algorithms like earliest deadline first and other things. And in case of soft real-time tasks, there are different type of algorithms. So whenever you are programming the operating system, or you can say RTOS or real-time operating system, so you should be taking care about other things. Even in case of GPS kind of thing, nowadays I believe lot many people are using GPS while going from one direction to another. They wanted that other person whom they are visiting should share the location, and after he gets the location, so he identifies his own location and comparing his own movement to the you can say receiver. तो रिसीवर सेंडर से रिसीवर तक की जो कम्युनिकेशन है, it generally happens in such a manner that whatever your movement is, that movement is real timely checked. If it is not, then it may lead that you always go for backtracking the things. Now another operating system is embedded Linux. So when we talk about the Linux operating system, one thing came into our mind, it is GNU, or in fact it is the freeware. So this is the specialty of the Linux. And when we talk about open source, so you are having the facility and flexibility that you should source code, and after downloading the source own power to it, and then you can reuse that particular code. So embedded Linux is used in embedded computer systems such as mobile phone, PDAs, that is personal digital assistants, media players, and other consumer devices. Now, in spite of Linux operating system designed for servers and desktop, this embedded Linux is designed for the devices which have relatively limited resources. As you know, RAM, storage, screen size, limited power, etc. Then at the same time, this Linux OS, it should have also an optimized kernel. So, friends, I suggest that if you are willing to work upon mobile related operating systems, then rather than jumping into proprietary kind of things, you can try with Linux OS, especially embedded Linux OS. Because of embedded Linux OS, as it is open source and it is having the optimized kernel, you are able to add your own, you can say, optimized things so that it will be becoming much more beautiful. So embedded Linux is the real-time operating system. It meets Genline as well as context switching thing also. Now this context switching in case of the real-time OS, it plays an important role because this context switching should be such that depending on the priority rather than preemptive, it should able to operate. And because of the context switching, it is possible for you to do the things in a multitasking manner. So embedded Linux is having the relative small footprint. Today, this mobile phones can ship with a small memory. Thus, OS must not seek or occupy a large amount of available storage. It should have a small footprint. Theoretically, they should deploy a footprint of 1 MB or less. And as embedded Linux is an open source, it has no cost for licensing. The embedded Linux is applied, or in fact it is implemented in Motorola mobile phones such as Razer V8, Razer V9, A1200, and mostly these hardwares, or in fact this Razer V8 are all based on Monta Vista Linux. This embedded Linux OS, so ARM and MIPS structure 7 embedded CPU architectures offer a small instruction set and special execution modes that shrinks the application size and consequently generates the smaller code. Now the next operating system is Windows operating system, Windows Mobile OS. So Windows Mobile OS is a compact operating system. It is designed for the mobile devices and based on Win32 architecture. It runs on the pocket PCs, smartphones as well as portable media centers. It provides ultimate interoperability. Users with various requirements are able to manipulate their data. And naturally, the favorite of all, Google Android platform. So it is a platform and an operating system for mobile devices based on the Linux operating system. It allows the developers to design applications in a Java-like languages using Google developed Java libraries. It supports a wide variety of connectivity such as GSM, Wi-Fi and 3G. The operating system has been implemented.
Sir, excuse me,
Yes.
sir. The slide is not moving, I think so.
Oh, just a second, sir. Is it now?
It is an embedded Linux OS, sir.
Okay. My net is going on. Am I audible properly?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Voice
sir,
is
you're
okay.
audible.
Yes, sir. You are audible.
सर एक बार स्टॉप शेयरिंग करके फिर से शेयर करिए. आई थिंक इट इज हैंग.
Yes, I'm doing the same thing. Is it now moved on?
Yes, sir. Windows mobile operating system is there.
Right.
Yes.
So currently we had discussed about Windows, and previously Windows was given by Microsoft Corporation, and it was a proprietary operating system. But still, for the knowledge, it runs on pocket PCs, smartphones, and portable media centers. And this Windows Mobile OS architecture was built upon the Microsoft Win32 architecture. Now, next is Google Android platform. Is it visible to all of you, sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So it is a platform and operating system for the mobile devices, and basically it was based on the Linux OS. Another thing was that it allows the developers to design the applications in a Java-like languages, because this Google Android, it is generally all the apps are linked with Play Store. Okay, and on the Play Store we are able to develop the applications, okay, from Java also. At the same time, we are able to deploy on the libraries on the Play Store also. So it supports a wide variety of connectivities such as GSM, Wi-Fi as well as 3G. And this operating system came into existence after 2009. Now, the Google Android platform architecture, you can view it from the website, which is about Android architecture. So from that, you can have the details. Now, the Google Android libraries include set of C++ libraries, and these libraries are exposed to the developers through the Android application framework. Now, it is also having the System C libraries, Surface Manager, 3D libraries, and SQLite, because nowadays, whenever we want to process the data, okay, so we should have some data processing softwares also. So generally, it is used by SQLite. Now coming to next operating system, this is also proprietary operating system. It is given by iOS, or you can say iPhone OS. So iPhone OS is an operating system which is impelled to run on iPhone as well as iPod, and it is based on the Mac kernel and joined core as Mac OS. The Mac OS X kernel includes the following components: It indicates the Mac kernel, BSD thing, IO components, different file systems, and the networking components. Now, Mac OS X architecture, it consists of, it is a classic. It is also having Carbon, Cocoa, JDK, BSD, QuickTime, application services, core services, and the kernel environment. This iPhone X or Mac OS X has a preemptive multitasking environment. Preemption is nothing but the act of taking the control of OS from one task and giving it to another task forcefully. Whenever we talk about preemption, so it has the forceful attitude, whereupon depending on the need, it takes the resources from one task and submit it to another so that no deadlock should happen. And that is the reason in case of iPhone, it is said that it rarely hangs, or a deadlock occurs very minimal times or very rarely. Then it supports real-time behavior. In Mac OS X, each application has access to its own 4 GB address space. Now about the architecture, or you can say kernel architecture of the iPhone OS, you are able to visit these few sites. This PPT has already been shared to your honorable mentor and directors. So you can visit the developer.apple.com. From this website or from the documentation site, you can view or reference lot many things. Friends, these are the references from which the data has been taken upon. So in fact, on the Google, lot many things are available. So from these references, you can see a specific thing for your interest. And this was the thing that we had discussed in the beginning of the lecture itself, about the mobile OS functions, tasks, then multi-core, single-core systems like that. Thank you, friends. This is from my end. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir. Any question? किसी को कुछ क्वेश्चन होगा तो पूछिए. Sir, I think there are no questions.
Okay, ma'am.
If you want to
Thanks a
discuss.
lot.
Okay, okay. So on behalf of
Another thing is, ma'am,
yes.
from the research viewpoint, currently as the technology is moving to 5G, or you can say fifth generation, so it is possible, and lot many kind of optimizations in case of either you can say algorithms, or in case you can say lot many applications. So it is possible. Still, there are chances that now you can make your operating system much more compact, and at the same time it is having a different type of scheduling criteria also. So that way you should able to see that what way research can be done. That's from my end, ma'am. Thanks a lot.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir, for your nice session and accepting our invitation as a resource person for this session. Thank you so much.
Thank you to you, ma'am. Thank you to Dr. Dete, sir.
Sir, Dete sir is also there in the meeting.
Right, ma'am. I don't know. That's why I'm thanking him. Thanks a lot, sir. Have a nice time. Have a nice day.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, if
Good day, sir.
possible, please share the PPT.
सर PPT is already shared in WhatsApp group, sir. देख
Okay,
लीजिए
okay,
सेशन
thank
के
you.
बाद मैंने शेयर कर दिया है.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you, everybody. Thanks a lot. Have a nice time. Bye-bye.
Thank you, all of you.
Thank you so much, sir.
Yes, we will meet at 1 o'clock for our next session.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, ma'am.
आप मीटिंग को अभी लीव कर सकते हैं, 1 घंटा है अपने पास. So you can join by 12:45. You can leave the meeting now.
Yes, madam.
Yes, yes.
Okay, ma'am.